Welcome back to Greels Reels, everybody. How are you doing? I hope you're doing good. I'm your host, Robert Greeley, and today is episode 11 with none other than Austen Keating. He just finished up an incredible career with the Ottawa 67s, just committed to the UNB Varsity Reds. He's going to do a lot of great things in that league, and we chatted about a whole bunch of stuff, wanting from his, lacrosse days, being a first-round draft pick in the OHL, a whole bunch of stuff that you're really going to enjoy. Make sure to check us out on YouTube too, Robert Greeley. We have the playlist Greels Reels there, and lots of fun videos coming out on that channel all the time. At the end of this podcast, if you enjoy it, I really would appreciate it if you share it with a friend. Spread the love. But in other words, let's get right into it. Okay, welcome everybody. And today's guest is a Guelph, Ontario native. Played his whole OHL junior career with the Ottawa 67s. He holds achievements that nobody else has ever done. Austen Keating, how you doing, bud?
Not too bad. I mean, I've been better, I guess, at this point with the whole pandemic and everything going around. But it's been a lot of fun being able to spend time with my family right now.
Yeah, you staying safe?
Oh yeah. I've been home, been in quarantine for pretty much the last 3 weeks or so. I've been able to get out and walk the dogs and do some yard work and stuff like that. But yeah, I've been staying at home.
Fair enough. Okay, so first of all, thanks for joining me. I'm super excited to have you. I think in terms of a junior career, there's not many people who can look back and say that they've done the things that you've done.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm able to look back on all the achievements after this year ended. It's pretty incredible. I don't think I could do it with all the help of the coaching staff and the staff that's made sure I've been staying healthy, all the trainers and everything like that. So I think a lot of that goes back to them.
Yeah, no, of course, it's there's definitely a bunch of people manning the ship, but I want to start things out with just the fact that you are from Guelph, and that's where everything started. What was it like growing up in the city and just finding your love for hockey there?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it first started, through my dad. He played, junior B hockey in Guelph and he's lived in Guelph his whole life. And, he had me in skates when I was about 3 years old. And, from then, I always either had a mini stick or a stick in my hand and wanted to play. And, I think it really started from there. And, growing up in the city of Guelph, it was a lot of fun. I played a year up at the 98 age group pretty much my entire life, I think, other than 2 years. And, those are some really great memories being able to look back on them, and especially when we had a really strong team. We had guys like Sean Allen, who played for Oshawa and Kitchener, and Connor Bunneman, who's now playing with Philly. And yeah, I mean, I think a lot of my roots is really strong coming back here. Obviously, at the end of last year, having to lose to Guelph in the finals wasn't too fun coming back here, but I think I learned a lot.
What's it like for just the development of a young hockey player to get to play with a lot of guys who basically have the same kind of aspirations and goals as you, and you kind of go along and you end up playing in the OHL against each other?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's huge. When you're surrounded by great players and great work ethics and hard workers and stuff like that, you're only going to get in the same mindset as them, and you're going to want to try and beat them in every drill, every little scrimmage, everything like that. And I think that really shows the competition that we had, and I kept growing and growing, playing with that team. Not only were we just good players, we were super close off the ice, and I still stay in contact with a bunch of those guys nowadays. So, um, you know, I think being able to play with those guys, it helped me a lot for my development, getting bigger, getting stronger, getting faster. So, a lot of that goes back to that.
And another thing that seems to be probably a little bit of your development there, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but in your draft release when you were drafted to the OHL, it had mentioned that you're also quite the lacrosse player, right?
Yeah. I actually, I played a lot of years against Mitch Holscher, who played over in Elora, and yeah, I was big into lacrosse. I started playing when I was about probably 8 or 9 years old, and same thing with hockey. We had a really good team. We were always number one, two, or three in the province, and we are always competing for a championship. It was definitely a nice break getting away from hockey. You'd have hockey, and then you'd have spring hockey, and then lacrosse would come around, and it was definitely nice getting a break from hockey, and I was still being able to work out. There's a lot of running in lacrosse, and a lot of conditioning. So I think that really helped me going into every hockey season. My conditioning, was really good.
Who was on top of that lacrosse matchup? You were Holsch.
Holsh doesn't like to admit it, but I think it was definitely us. Yeah, I mean, we only played him every second year because it was just like that. You'd either play with the '98 age group and then you go back down and play with the 2000 age group. And
Mm.
I don't think he won many games against us. I don't know if he'll admit it, but from my memory, I think we definitely got the better hand.
Are you still doing much lacrosse, or is it just mainly hockey now?
Yeah, it's just hockey. Once my final year of lacrosse was going into my OHL draft year.
Okay.
Uh, Once I got drafted into the OHL, I knew that was it, and I wanted to focus strictly on hockey. I definitely did have a love for lacrosse, but I think it was more of a hobby. Whereas I knew hockey was going to be my life, and it's something that I fell in love with the game when I was young, and it hasn't changed since now. So I definitely knew that I had to make the change. Obviously, it was tough. A lot of my buddies from back home, they all play lacrosse and the NCAA and stuff like that, and I'll go and watch them in the summer times and stuff. And definitely a little weird watching from the sidelines, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, I knew hockey was what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into that OHL draft year. So I mean, 2015, you ended up going in the first round with to the 67s. There's always this a pressure of going in the first round. It seems for like NHL, anyways. Guys always want to be in that first round, and then obviously too, there's a lot of expectations then when you are a first round draft pick in terms of like media and the expectation to perform and contribute to that organization is a little bit higher. Do you find the same thing for junior?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely when you're going in as a first round draft pick, there's definitely a lot of high expectations. Especially when my first year, we had a pretty solid team. We had guys like Salatero, Konechny, Addison, Middleton, and we were a really strong team that they hadn't really been able to get out of the first round in a while, and I think they thought that I would have been able to help with that. Um, I think it definitely helped too when 2 years before my OHL draft year when I was playing with the '98s, and then I went back down with my own age group, and there's definitely a lot of expectations there just from coming back down, and I think that really helped my development and being able to play under pressure and when all the eyes are on you, you're able to perform. And I think once I got to Ottawa, I kind of was already a little bit used to that, and obviously not used to the media and everything like that, but just being able to play in the big games and perform, and kind of just do my thing.
How how was it with just playing with a guy like Konecki for a little bit there?
Yeah, it was definitely pretty cool. When you're a 15, 16-year old and you're walking into a room and you see Travis Konecny, first round draft pick to Philly that year, and he was really good with me. He picked me up day one of main camp. It was him, a bunch of the older guys, which is pretty intimidating at first, but I think you really realize that at the end of the day, your first round, your seventh round, you're undrafted. It doesn't matter. We're all just people, and we're all the same. We all want to succeed and get better each and every day. And once I kind of met those guys, I kind of realized that I just want to get better, and I wanted to beat them in every drill, every workout, kind of everything like that.
So it's funny now too because I mean Travis is in one of probably the most wild OHL trades when you look at kind of like the give and return in terms of like kind of just a brilliant move. It brought basically Travis to Sarnia and it brought back a fellow first rounder in that OHL draft with Sasha Shemilevsky over to the 67s from Sarnia. When that trade was made, were you like did you know much about Sasha just kind of being in the same draft class and like what were your initial thoughts when that deal happened?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really know him off the ice, too well. We played against each other in the U17s World Championship, and he was on Team USA. And obviously, I knew him just from being around the league and being a first round pick playing for Sarnia. I didn't really know how good he was just because we didn't really play them much. And I think I remember that first practice. It was morning skate, and we were all just kind of watching him, and you kind of knew he was going to be a special player. Just his pro mentality. I mean, once you meet Sash, you already know that he's ready for pro. He's a great guy on the ice, off the ice, great leader. He's got a bunch of offensive instincts, really good centerman and everything like that. And he once you were able to watch him, even though he was my age and we were in the same draft class, you kind of just want to follow him and you want to do the same things that he does to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, Sash is it's funny. He's quite the academic too. I mean, I think he win twice the CHL academic like player of the year.
Yeah, I think once or twice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So no matter what he does, he's gonna be the best at it. It's something that I kind of came like to know once you get to see him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so yeah, exactly. Like even though last year, we didn't have captains or anything like that. When Sash talked in the room, all ears were listening and all eyes were on him. And I think a big reason why we went on that run last year was because he ran the ship for the majority of the year and made sure that we were all ready to go each and every game. Didn't matter who we were playing, whether it was the last place team or the first place team. He didn't want to give an inch, and I think we all really followed him and learned a lot from him too.
For sure. Now, some other teammates in that draft. I mean, a couple picks later, Noel Hoffmeyer got picked up. So, I mean, it's kind of rare for players to, even the best of players, to almost play their full junior career from, right when they get drafted to their OA with one team. Because, I mean, typically you kind of see OAs being, either big trading moves like trading value, or some guys just end up going to an AHL or ECHL team, or even the NHL. But I mean, you and Noel have been able to play with each other and alongside each other from that draft to your OA season. What was that like?
Yeah, it was pretty incredible. We were both very lucky to be able to stay in the same city for all 5 years, and especially in Ottawa. I mean, Ottawa is an incredible city. The fan base, the arena, the staff, everything about the city is just incredible. And there's a special place in my heart for the city of Ottawa. I'm very grateful that I was able to spend the last 5 years there. And the funny thing was, after my first year, I almost got traded to Flint. There was pretty much a trade in place for me to head to go to Flint, but with my no trade clause and stuff like that, I wanted to stay in Ottawa and kind of see how things go. And I'm really happy I made that decision, just because some of the friendships and everything that I've made throughout the last 5 years is they're unbreakable. I stay in contact with guys like Hoff, Huddy, Felly, Sash, everyone. And me and Hoff were both. We didn't. I guess we didn't really meet until main camp. We didn't know each other, even though we played against each other for years. And there was just that instant chemistry, that friendship that we built. Just kept growing stronger and stronger. And now we're closer than ever.
Yeah, and you mentioned Huddy there, because and just the fact of trades as well. He was dealt to Peterborough this year, and I mean, obviously that was tough for you. But I mean, how would you describe that for people who kind of don't really understand the connection that you can make with teammates, especially guys coming into your draft year?
Yeah, I mean that was a tough couple of weeks, as you know. It was definitely when for me and Hadi, especially, we lived together for pretty much 5 years, and it was pretty unexpected. It was kind of one day he was there, and the next day he was gone, and you get used to living with someone, and you get used to that guy being around the room and being around you all the time. That sometimes you can take it for granted and not really realize it until it's gone. And once he got traded, I think everyone kind of realized, he was a huge part of our room. He was a really big leader, big defensive guy that kind of, maintained the ship for the most part. But, I know he did really well in Peterborough. I'm happy for him. And, obviously we got Graffa in return, and he was a heck of a player. And, I'm really close with Joe too, as he moved in with my billet house. But, I think it worked out for the better for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to see guys get opportunities too, because I mean, he hopped up with the Petes, who are also having a great year, and I mean, it was looking like, I mean, for the most part in the East, it was like, okay, is it going to be the 67s or is it going to be Peterborough? What do you think that I guess conference final would have looked like?
Yeah, I mean that's what a lot of the people guys were thinking. And I talk to Huddy pretty much probably once or twice, 3 times a week right now. And we still always joke around with it. I think if we knew who would have won, then at least you could have dealt with it and got over it. But I think we probably would have ended up playing Peterborough in the second or third round of the playoffs. And it would have been a heck of a series. Two top teams going at it. And we had a rivalry all year, pretty much for the last couple of years. And, it would have been a great series. Like I said before, there would have been, a lot of fights, stuff like that. Crowd would have been into it. So it would have been a lot of fun to play in.
Yeah, now it's just going to be a debate 40, 60 years down the road, just around the table. Everybody's old and retired now, but still yelling at, saying that, if we had to play that series, we would have taken you guys in five for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what we literally say the same thing. Oh yeah, we would have swept you guys, and then it's the other way, him coming back at me and stuff like that, and then we end up getting mad at each other and have to call each other back a couple hours later. So
Oh, that's awesome. But no, so now I also want to talk about the fact that you hit the 300 game mark this year, and you also did it with 300 points. And I mean, the other 300 point 67 guys are like, they're pretty well established names in Tyler Toffoli and Dennis Potvin. But the other thing is too is you're actually the only guy in 67's history to hit the 300 game mark and also have 300 points. I mean, it's not like this is a new franchise. Like the 67s have been around for some time, and a lot of great alumni, a lot of great players, a lot of first round draft picks. Like, I mean, what's it feel like to just basically be in a room by yourself in that category?
yeah, well, I mean, I think when it first happened and I got that achievement, I didn't really think about it too much, just because we're in January or February of the season. We're gearing up for the playoffs and everything like that. So when it happened, I really didn't think too much of it until the season ended, and I kind of was able to look back on it and kind of see that it is a big achievement. Being able to all the all the players that have gone through the 67's history, all the great players, the Hall of Famers, the Stanley Cup champions, everyone like that. I'm lucky enough to be able to, kind of have that record and everything like that. Like I said before, I wouldn't have been able to do it without, the trainers, the staff, making sure I've been healthy to be able to play over 300 games. And you have Derek Miller and his group, and Sean Young and his group, and the coaching staff as well. Making sure that I'm able to produce each and every night and on a consistent basis. So, I think a lot of that goes back to them just making sure that I was ready to play each and every night.
Yeah, like we mentioned before, it really takes like a lot of people because the thing is like 300 games. It's a little bit of an Iron Man almost, not the consecutive streak and whatnot, but it's definitely something that's pretty incredible. But so you mentioned the new coaching staff, and you've been around the team for a while, and you kind of seen the team go from being like a first round exit, unfortunately, with a few years there, to okay, you know what, now we're a bit of a like an established powerhouse. Like guys aren't really going to be happy if they have to come to Ottawa to play you guys. What just take me through the years there of that transition.
Yeah, so my first 2 years we had Jeff Brown as the head coach, and he was a terrific coach. He really helped me along my first 2 years, and a lot of the guys as well. When he left, obviously Andre and Normo and Mark came in, and along with Boydie and Jan. But when they came in, they pretty much just changed the whole culture of the team. Even though their first year we were an 8 seed team, I think we came back from probably 15 or 20 games. We were down 3-1 going in the third. We were working out a lot more. That was kind of the big transition for a lot of us. My first 2 years, the workouts were kind of easier and stuff like that. Whereas, that first year when Younger and his group came in, then we were doing tough workouts each day. A lot of conditioning, everything like that. And, the whole culture of the team changed. We kind of had more spark, more confidence. And even though, like I said, even though we were an 8 seed team, we were starting to get more and more fans, as you could see, come to the building. Even though we weren't winning games or anything like that, we knew it was going to be something special. And then obviously last year, it was just a great run. We all knew that we all knew the team that we had. We had a lot of good forwards, good defense, a really strong goalie, and our off ice chemistry was just incredible. When you're having to wake up at 6:30, 7 a.m. in the morning and kind of go to work until 2 or 3 in the afternoon, you're gonna need a couple of guys to pick you up on some days if you're not feeling it. And we were so close and such a passionate group that we had each other's backs no matter what.
And so, I mean, now you're basically a recent one of the newest alumni of the 67s organization. What are you hoping for that group of guys, and where do you think with once everything gets back and going again, what are your expectations for that team?
Oh, it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be big. Even though there's a lot of guys leaving, throughout this year. I think there's still going to be a really strong team. You look at, some of the guys that are coming back, Jack Quinn, Graham Clark, possibly Holsey, whatever, depends on what he's doing. You have Rippin and Seti in the net. They're going to be a really strong club. Um, you know, they might not have as much skill just because of how old our group was this year and last year, but they're gonna work really hard. Even the young guys coming up, they were just starting to kind of get comfortable into the league. You guys got guys like Johnson and stuff like that, Mateer, and they're going to be really good players. 2 or 3 years down the road, and especially with the coaching stuff that they have there. They're going to kind of lead those guys and groom them, and their time is going to come where they're going to be ready to go into the finals and hopefully bring a championship back to Ottawa.
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't say it better myself. One thing I also wanted to talk about. So, I mean, the OHL has their coaches poll every year, and so you were tied for third in the category of most underrated player. So, it's kind of an ironic poll because it's like, okay, if you're recognized as the most underrated player, are you really that underrated, right? But yeah, no, just what do you think that just says about you and your game?
Yeah, well, I think I'm able to help out my teammates a lot. I'm able to find them in good scoring chances. I'm able to, play defensively sound and, play the way that the coach wants. And, obviously coming third in that award, I guess, it's a big honor still. Um, I think some of the guys that I played with you, Felleber last year, who obviously signed, and Marco this year, and obviously Marco was the big guy this year, and he deserved all the credit because he's such a great player and a great guy off the ice. I don't think I'd be the same player I would be if it wasn't for those two guys. Making sure that I was staying positive and being happy and everything like that. And I think at the end of the day, even though I won or came third in the award for most underrated, it doesn't really change my mindset. I'm still gonna, kind of do my thing, work hard in the corners, and hopefully produce offensively.
Hmm. Yeah, that line was something special last season. Yourself, Rossi, and Felber. I think one of my all-time favorite photos is the one of you three in the locker room with Felly had his game puck of 50 goals in 50 games. It was pretty special.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I probably was on the ice for probably 45 or 40 of those 50 goals. And, yeah, I mean, I pretty much remember every single one like it's nothing. I'm really happy for him. I think he was due for a big year like that. He has those offensive instincts, and the puck just wasn't going in the last couple of years. And he was able to get confidence right away. I think it was probably 3 or 4 games in, and Coach Andre put me, Marco, and Felly together, and then from there we kind of just took off. And I think the big thing with our line was that it didn't really matter who scored, who got the points. I think at any time, Marco could have been the guy in the corner. I could have been the scorer, or Felly could have been the passer. So, it didn't really matter, who was getting the points or who was getting the cookies. We were all just happy for each other that we were being successful.
Yeah, it's always the big thing with line chemistry. But I mean, looking back on it now, you mentioned those guys, and obviously we mentioned Travis and Sasha. But when you're just looking at the whole career, who are some guys where you're really like, man, like this was like a pleasure to play with a guy like that?
Well, I mean, obviously we've gone over like Konechny and Sash and guys like that. I think, one kind of guy that goes under the radar a lot is Sam Stadnika, he was an overager my first year, and he went to play at St. FX after, but he kind of took me under his wing my first year, and along with Hoff, and kind of just made sure that we were all right, checking in with us and everything like that. And he's one of those guys that you kind of want to be around. He's a natural leader. He got traded to Sarnia halfway through the year and became the captain right away. And I still talk to him here and there. Obviously, he's got a younger brother, Jack, who's playing AHL or the NHL, one or the other. And he's definitely one guy that's helped me a lot. I definitely say guys like Dante Salatero, Jeremiah Addison, they were my 2 line mates my first year, and they definitely brought me along and kind of showed me the ropes. And then I think probably the biggest one for me is probably Travis Barron. He was our leader for 3 years, and I'm really close with him off the ice. Still stay in contact with him to this day, and he's just one of those guys that he just works. he's a digger, and he'll step up for the guys. He'll if he has to fight, he'll fight for the guys. He's just one of those guys that wants to be there for everyone and wants to always give back to whether it's the community, whether it's to the guys, to the coaching staff. It really doesn't matter. And I think he's definitely the biggest one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I haven't actually had the pleasure of meeting Travis, but I know that the words you're saying are pretty legit because when he showed up to say hello to all you guys in the final there, I don't think I seen a group of guys just kind of get fired up more, and he was already on his first year of pro, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He just got home actually probably a couple of weeks ago after his first year pro, and guys like that you don't really get to see often. I think I saw Chav maybe 4 times this last summer, and that was really about it. So, every chance you get to see guys that you haven't seen in a while, you want to take in every second of it, because you just don't know when the next time you're going to be able to see him. So, it was really great to see him, and I was able to see him a couple more times after that.
Yeah, for sure. Your head coach actually mentioned that too, and I forget what article it was from, but he was just saying how this whole situation it is kind of unfortunate because, like I said, the group that you guys had were just so close, and you never really know when you're going to cross paths again, right? Especially where you got a lot of guys on that team from a lot of different areas, right? I mean, Marco's from Austria, you got a couple guys from the States as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm kind of I still well me and I guess me and Felly started doing this thing where it's like a reunion at my house every year. We
Okay.
kind of get a bunch of the guys, and it's kind of we bring everyone together for a weekend. Like Sash flew down last year. All the Ottawa guys came. We probably had probably 15 guys I think show up, and when you're able to see guys like that, you know the spark never leaves. It just gets lit up again. It's like you didn't miss a second, and the chemistry is always there, and you're able to joke around with the guys and everything like that, and that just shows how close our group was.
Yeah, 100%. Give me a call next year, and I'll photograph the event.
All right, sounds good. I'm down for that. Or if it ends this year, I'll have you down. We're gonna have a big crew this year, so.
Yeah, that's no, that's awesome. So the last thing I want to talk about before we kind of get into your new commitment with UNB there is and this is literally just out of curiosity because I mean I think when I think of like Austen Keating and like photos of you that are posted on social media that kind of go a little bit viral is just the vertical on the ice, the jump from when there's a shot from the point. How much is that of the training and developing the vertical, and how much of it is all right? I got to get the hell out of Hoffenmeyer's way right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think it really started happening until probably the last 2 years. And so, I mean, those first 3 years, I probably got hit by half shot at least 40 or 50 times. And, you think I'd learn the first time, but yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it goes back to my training in the off season. I train at Redline Conditioning with Merles, who's a Kitchener Ranger trainer, and he's really big into jumps and verticals and everything like that. And then I'm able to do it as well with Sean Young and his group during the year. And I I don't really know like where I learned it. I kind of do like a little bit of a tuck jump and just get my legs up. It's able to work. It's been able to work out for me so far the last couple shots. So they're definitely pretty cool photos. Being able to see those and looking back on them now.
Yeah, what I found, like, what's interesting is I think a lot of people, when they think of hockey players, I mean, in terms of testing and stuff like that, people might put, in terms of priority, the vertical on the lower end of the scale. But I mean, like, what advantage do you get by, just having that in your tool set?
Yeah, well, I think it definitely involves in the skating. I think my skating the last couple of years have come a long way from my first 2 years especially, and I'm able to kind of get my flexibility stronger and my flexibility better. Then I'm able to take longer strides and I'm able to get quicker and faster on the ice. So when I'm able to have a good vertical and stuff like that, it really opens up a lot more plays. I'm able to make more moves around defensemen if I want to turn back, stuff like that. So I have more things to use against defenders to keep the puck and make plays.
Okay, yeah, no, honestly, it makes sense. Makes sense to me for sure. So, yeah, let's get into the newest announcement that kind of came out this week was your commitment to the University of New Brunswick. You're going to be playing with the Reds. Yeah, I mean, take us through the whole process of just kind of being an OA and where you think you could end up landing, and who you're talking to, and just overall that whole process.
Yeah, so I mean, when you're going into your OA year, it's a little nerve-wracking a little bit, just especially when you don't know where you're playing the next year. Pretty much for the last 5 years, I've always known I've been coming back to Ottawa, but this year I knew I had to have a big year. I had to kind of turn some heads and show a lot of people that I do deserve a contract and stuff like that. And I felt like I had a pretty solid year. Obviously didn't get a lot of calls. I got a couple here and there, and a lot of that was the coach Andre. He was making calls left, right, and center for me, and really helped me out, and I appreciate it a lot. The summer's the off season, I guess, isn't over yet. So if I potentially get a deal, it might still happen. Who knows? But right now, I think committing to UNB was the best situation for me. They're successful organization. It's through the charts. Like I said before, when I'm able to surround myself with great players, I'm only going to continue to get better each and every day. And I think UNB gives me the best opportunity to do that. Who knows? After 4 years, I could be bigger, stronger, and faster, and I could get a lot better and then sign right out of there. So, I'm really happy and I'm excited for the opportunity at UNB.
You wanted to join because you want to be surrounded by players who are going to give you the best opportunity to grow, and you think that they give you the best situation to do that. What kind of guys are you excited to be playing with?
Um, you got guys like Chris Bennett, McEwen from Guelph, Connor Hall, guy Benson who just won the Canadian Male Athlete of the Year. Actually, he was a really great player, and then you guys got Jason Williams just committed as well. We were kind of we were talking for the last couple of weeks about it, and me and Williams we work out together, and we're pretty close off the ice and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to kind of get down there and meet everyone. Obviously, I guess the normal thing to do is, you go out there and you visit the school for a weekend and kind of see a bunch of schools. But, with this whole thing going on, I don't think that's going to happen. And, I already knew in my head that I wanted to go to UNB.
Yeah, I mean, because that's always interesting too. Because you've never been to the East Coast, eh?
No, not at all.
Okay, what do you think it says about just I mean that organization where they can recruit guys who haven't even seen anything besides like video chats and online stuff?
Yeah, I think it's huge. They've built a winning culture there, and they're well known for their hockey team, and a lot of great players end up going there, and not many players go there and don't get better after 4 or 5 years from going there. So and you see how many guys, especially nowadays, that are signing pro contracts at a school, and when you're going to UNB, who's pretty much a top team in the country, and they compete against all the NCAA top teams, and they beat them a couple times, and so when you're able to go there and kind of play with those guys, practice with those guys, and the coaching staff is, they're a lot like the coaching staff in Ottawa, and I'm really excited to, kind of get that going.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they've definitely established something pretty solid there. What do you think your first task or like what's on your bucket list for the East Coast? Any
Yeah, I think my first thing is, I want to kind of go fishing out there and kind of see, kind of see everything, I guess. I haven't, I guess, gone fishing in probably 2 or 3 years now, and I know like they're well known for their fish out there, and it's definitely something that I want to try.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm just gonna support Newfoundland right now. You gotta make the trip to Newfoundland to really fish. Get those get the we. I just think we got the better fish out here. That's just a little East Coast rivalry, province to province.
I'll test it out for sure.
Yeah. What are your expectations in that league? I mean, it's going to be a whole new league for you.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly what you said. It's gonna be pretty different, especially going to school now on top of it instead of just playing hockey. And yeah, once I get there, I think you're kind of starting brand new teammates, brand new coaches, a whole brand new system. I think that's kind of going to be the first thing that I want to get down is that's the system that the coach wants us all to play. Hopefully I can make an impact right away and kind of help our team win a national championship. That's kind of my end goal at the end of next year is being able to hold that trophy over my head. I've been close the last 2 years, I guess, and it's definitely something that I want to do. And with the players that they have on that team, it really gives me a strong chance.
Yeah, no, I mean they're definitely a shoe in to almost be in that national tournament at the end of every year. You're so when the Reds get ready to face off UPI, you're gonna be up against some familiar face. Is there Colin
Oh yeah.
Maximovic is going to be on the other end of that ice? How do you think that matchup's going to go?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't think I've ever played Maxi. When I've known him, when he was in Erie, I didn't really know him too well. So,
Hmm.
it's definitely going to be a little chirping going on, and kind of both of us having a little bit of fun. Obviously, Maxi had an incredible year this year. I'm just kind of keeping watch on him throughout the year, and I'm pretty sure he was on one of the all rookie teams, and he did a really great job. So, he's going to be one guy that we're going to have to watch out for, and hopefully I'm the guy to shut him down. So.
Yeah. Oh, so I mean, what are you going to be studying at UNB?
I haven't really decided yet. That's still up in the air. I'm either thinking about taking business or going down the road of sports management.
Okay.
I get into coaching or scouting or something like that. It's kind of something that I've always loved to do. Yeah, so I got a lot of time nowadays, so I'm gonna, kind of sit on it a little bit, debate about it, and then I'll make my decision.
Hmm. And I mean, this might be looking maybe a little bit too far down the road, but a lot of people, like you said, UNB just makes guys better, and all the guys who sign pro deals, whether it be overseas or with a coast team, uh, is there any aspiration for that after the 4 years, or?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. That's kind of that's still like I guess the main goal. After I'm done at UMB, hopefully sign maybe an A deal or obviously go out to Europe and kind of see what what's going on out there. There's so many guys that are able to sign pro deals, especially in Europe nowadays after school. And the good thing is that they have a diploma at the end of the day. So once they are done playing hockey, they have something that they can lean back on. And I think that's going to be huge for me. Once hockey's all finished, I'm going to have a diploma in my back pocket that I can use right away.
Yeah, no, I mean it's interesting. I don't know if it's like the development of social media or whatnot, but it seems like just more and more people are finding it easier to find a spot over in Europe, and they get that education, and then they get to go there. And I've been to Germany, and I've got to see like three different rinks over there, and I like fan bases are incredible. It seems like an incredible atmosphere. I mean, there's some guys that I know who are signing deals over there now, and I like have photos of these guys, so I've had teams kind of like reach out looking for photos if they can use the permission of it, and like just talking to like for one, I don't know how they find me. That it always blows my mind how like invested they are in their guys, but they're just like they're super friendly, and they're always just like very welcoming. Like they're like, oh yeah, like you got to come watch them play sometime, and it's like yeah, I'd love to, and I'd love to do a Europe trip where just get to see all the guys that I know who have gone pro. But yeah, it's incredible kind of how it is over there.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. My buddy who lives probably four houses down. He's kind of been one of my best buddies growing up, and he signed in the Slovakian league probably about 2 years ago, and he'll show like videos on social media and stuff like that, and the crowds are always, they're always on their feet, loud. It's pretty cool to see for sure.
My biggest takeaway was because there was this other photographer from Germany who was the photographer for one of the teams, and he told me that the crowds there, if the team is losing, they take it upon themselves. Like they're the reason why their team is losing. So that just means that they have to be louder and louder and louder, which I
Yeah.
think is like a big, big difference between like North American crowds and them, right? Like and I think that's what just makes those buildings absolutely roar.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I've honestly like had probably 20 of the guys that I know playing in Europe. All of them have said the crowds are unbelievable. It's kind of a really neat thing to be able to play in front of and kind of see for your own eyes.
Hmm. So, yeah, this is at the end of every podcast. I always normally give the guys the option to, basically chat about whatever they want. The platform's yours. It can be a life lesson, a short story, childhood memory, or anything like that. I mean, like literally whatever you want. It's all shows yours.
Yeah, all right. I'll give a little bit of a life lesson, I guess. I think when I was 17 years old, and after I finished in my second year with Ottawa, and I did pretty well that year. My production was doing well, and I ended up going to the NHL draft. My whole family was there. My two buddies were there, and I ended up having to sit through all 7 rounds of the draft and not having my name called, and that was definitely tough. You're sitting there for 4 hours and just you just want to get out of there at the end of the day. And I think for me, I was down for about 2 weeks. I just didn't really want to do anything. I was all pissed off, angry, emotional, and my dad kind of sat me down and pretty much just told me. There's one saying throughout my whole childhood, whenever something negative was going on, was you just got to get back on the ball. Every single time it knocks you down or knocks you off of it, you just got to keep getting back on it. And that's kind of been that slogan that stayed with me, throughout my whole life. And after I had that conversation with him, I started, I got back to the gym. I started doing power skating again, and then my third, fourth, and fifth year were really good. So, yeah, I mean that was kind of the one life lesson I took is there's in this world there's going to be negative things happen to us all the time. It's about how you respond. If you shut down, then it's going to get the better of you. But if you kind of pull through and get back on the ball and start working hard again, then you're going to be able to beat that negativity.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, yeah, couldn't agree more, man. So yeah, that wraps it up, man. I think that's a good note to end it off on. Thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm excited to see what you're gonna do with that Reds UNB team. I think it's
Yeah.
gonna be something special.
No, yeah, 100%. I'm really excited. I kind of just want to get down there just because with this whole quarantine thing, the day's been feeling longer and longer, and I just kind of want to get once August 1st comes around, and hopefully this whole pandemic is over, then I'm going to be down in New Brunswick and kind of getting my new chapter of my life going. So I'm excited to get started.
Yeah. All right, man. I'll be expecting the invitation in the mail, and I'll have camera in hand.
All right, sounds good.
Hey, take care, man.
You too.
Okay, that's it for today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, hey, leave us a review. If you didn't, also leave us a review. Let us know what we can be doing better. But yeah, in the meantime, stay best kind.